Welcome to Khanversations. I'm Muqtedar Khan. I'm your host, and today I'm going to talk to you about India's opportunity to both taste global leadership and test itself, its capacity to lead the world. India, since its birth, has been aspiring to become a leading nation in the world. And now in 2023, in 3 months' time, India will get the opportunity to show the world what it can do as a global leader. If you're coming to the Khanversations for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends, colleagues, students, and people who you know in the media. So in 2023, India will take over the presidency of G20, the group of 20. It is an important forum. I will talk about it shortly. And India will also become, will get the rotating leadership of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So essentially, India is going to be leading SCO and will also be leading the G20 in the year 2023. So what does it mean to be the leader of G20? G20 is essentially an economic forum. It consists of 19 countries, plus the European Union, and this forum came together. It's not an organization, it's like a club. It's like a meeting place of some of the most important economic powers in the world. In fact, G20 essentially is about 70 to 75% of the global GDP and more than half of the world's population, even though they are just 20. It makes it easier to make important decisions, but those who are critics say it excludes the global south, and many nations in the world have no say in the policies that emerge out of G20. G20 emerged as an institution to deal with global financial crisis towards the end of the 1990s. So the primary function of G20 is to provide international stability on financial matters, transactions, trade, economy, growth, taxation, etc. All of these issues are within the purview of G20. But lately, all organizations also include dealing with a pandemic, how to cope with pandemic, the negative economic consequences and financial consequences of the disruption of the supply chain as a result of the pandemic. All of this also fall within the purview of G20. And often this is also an opportunity for leaders of these countries to meet. They meet at least once in a year at the G20 summit, and important issues are discussed which may or may not be of the financial or economic kind. So, for example, the war in Ukraine would be an issue that might be discussed on the sidelines by the leaders because they have an opportunity to discuss this face-to-face. And the second international organization is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It's composed of 8 countries, essentially Russia, China, India, Pakistan, and 4 of the stands from Central Asia. Iran will also become an additional member starting 2023. And the summit will be held, obviously, in India. So now India is going to be leading these 2 organizations, which are very, very interesting, very different. G20 focuses on global economy and finance, whereas SCO focuses on regional security, Central Asia, and most of Asia. The focus primarily of SCO is to combat 3 things that China had initially identified as threat to China: extremism, terrorism, and separatism. If you notice, all of them spell Uyghur. So all of these three things were the primary reason why China was getting into security cooperation with states which bordered China. But now India also has an interest in combating extremism, separatism, and terrorism, which spell for India, Kashmir. So this is a security forum, but in the light of what's going on in Ukraine, and the important role that Russia plays in SCO, increasingly Western analysts are referring to SCO as the anti-NATO alliance. Even though SCO is not a military alliance, it is a security cooperation organization, and most of the countries that are members of it are not Western countries. There are no Western countries. India, as a host, can invite countries and probably will invite some Western countries when it hosts the meeting next year. India will try very hard to convey the message that it is not an anti-West organization. So what are the tests of India's leadership? So the first thing is rudimentary. Can India actually organize these events successfully? India has a lot of experience. Since 1982, when they held the first Asian Games, India has got better and better at hosting international forums. The G20 will entail hosting over 200 conferences in 1 year in India. So it's a major task. It also will require allocation of lots of resources from the Ministry of External Affairs. But it will also give India a great opportunity not only to facilitate international cooperation, but also to set the agenda. And that is the real challenge as to what kind of leadership is India going to demonstrate at these two forums. India has other challenges. At G20, the US will be there. There will be Western powers, France and Germany, and there will also be Russia and China. So how does India manage these two particular dyads, US-China, US-Russia, at the G20 forum, so that the tensions between this US and China, US and Russia, does not take away from whatever India has planned for G20 for 2023 and going forward. And at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, India has other challenges. For example, Pakistan, which is one of the 9 members, has not yet signaled whether it will come. If Pakistan does not come, it clearly shows that India has a problem in bringing all members of SCO together. So if SCO has to meet in full strength, perhaps it should find another venue other than India. And I suppose if Pakistan does not come to India's forum, and if SCO is ever held in Pakistan, India will not go. And the fact that India will hesitate to go to Pakistan means that likelihood of Pakistan ever hosting that particular forum diminishes significantly. So that is one small challenge, but the real challenge will be once Iran becomes part of SCO, we will be having a conference in India in which all of the enemies of the United States, Russia, China, Iran will be at the same table, hosted by India, who wants to build strong and strategic partnerships with the United States. So when India hosts the G20 forum, there will be lots of criticism from the global south, which feels that many countries in the world which are poor and a bit struggling to develop are being marginalized, and global agenda, especially the financial and economic agenda, is being set by a handful of countries. And India, aspiring to be a leader of the global south, will actually be participating with those who exclude the global south from global decision-making, from global governance. So India is going to get some criticism from countries from Africa and other Asian countries who are not included in G20. And when India is hosting the SCO, it is definitely going to get criticism from Western countries for essentially, imagine Putin by that time coming to India. God knows what he will do in Ukraine next. Will he be invited by India? As of now, it appears that India will invite Russia to the SCO forum. So India will have to thread the needle as far as balancing these contesting issues. And so it will be a true test of India's ability to lead the world. India has always wanted a seat at the leadership table, and now it's getting a chance. So it's very important that India do well, and I think India will manage these events in a very important and successful way, and will definitely provide, shall we say, more significance to the agendas that will come out from G20 and SCO meeting. So let's look forward to this. I will keep a close eye on the proceedings of these two organizations for the next few months, and I will continue to talk to all of you about how India is becoming one of the world's most important and powerful countries, and how it is planning to lead the world. And so I will do more conversations, especially on the G20 and SCO 10 years of India in 2023. So to get more ideas about, to get more sense of my coverage of these issues, do subscribe to Khanversations, like the video, and share it with your friends. And until next time, this is Muqtedar Khan. Be happy, be safe, and don't forget to read the news.